So even though we didn't do the calculator lesson, you have learned enough to recognize the calculator way of showing decimals and recognize using flexible place value and your numeracy, your ability to read and write things with the numbers in them. You need to know that these are two ways of showing the same thing. So it says most people write whole numbers without a decimal point. We don't usually use a decimal point. We don't talk about what isn't there. If I say I have 4 pies, or if I say if someone says the price is $13, it's understood that it's $13.00. And so we don't usually say $13.00. I wouldn't say I have 4 pies but no cakes. I just talk about the pies. And so most people write whole numbers without a decimal point, and calculators usually display whole numbers with a decimal point on the right. You can write whole numbers either way, so this is the common way that human beings write it. This is common that you'll see on calculators, and you just need to know that they are representing the exact same thing. To work with decimal numbers, you should be able to recognize and write whole numbers with and without decimal points. So you're just going to write each whole number with a decimal point. 5 is the same thing as 5 decimal point. 8 is the same thing as 8 decimal point. Go ahead and do the rest of these on your own. And then it says write each whole number without a decimal point. So they want us to take the decimal point away. 6 decimal point is the same thing as 6. 37 decimal point is the same thing as just 37. 1 decimal point is the same thing as just 1. So go ahead and do the rest of these on your own and with excellence. Okay, and then the last thing, our last task in this lesson is to put an equal sign between each pair of equal numbers. We're going to cross out each pair of numbers that are not equal. And so 7 and 0/10 is the same thing as 7 decimal point. 19 is the same thing as 19 with a decimal point at the end. And it says 19 whole units is equal to 19 whole units. 19 decimal point 19. These are not the same. These are not the same at all. And so I'm going to cross out that pair. 18 whole units and 0, or 18 and 0/10 is not the same thing as 0 and 1800ths. They are not the same, and so I'm going to cross them out. Go ahead and do the next column all by yourself. I'll give you a little help on the third column. 9 whole units is the same thing as 9 whole units with a decimal point at the end. 12 is not the same thing as 1 and 2/10. 1/10 is the same as 0 and 1/10. 5 whole units, 5 decimal point is the same thing as 5 whole units and 0/10. Go ahead and do this next column all on your own. And I'll give you a little bit of help on the last column. 8 and 0/10 is not the same as 0 and 8/10. 46 decimal point and 46 and 0/10, they are the same. And you can finish up this column on your own.